Coco TV. Do you love your vegetables? Are you vegetarian? Well, the recipe I'm doing for you today is spot on vegetable flavor fully, but with a hint of some meat there so that you don't completely forget about your proteins. I'm going to be showing you today how to make a very creamy vegetable lasagna with a few hints that I'm going to be showing you along the way so that you do incorporate the flavor of some meat in there so you're not missing out at all. So if you do love your vegetable dishes, if you are strictly vegetarian and find it hard to even find proper dishes to make at home on a low budget, this is exactly for you. So please stay tuned to the rest of this video. I hope that you do enjoy, and please try this at home. It is absolutely divine. You're gonna want to have it like once a week, I'm sure. Thank you so much guys for all your support and all your love. Please make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, click on notifications, boop, so that you can be first to know when I do drop a new video. Enjoy. Bye bye. So let's get started with our filling for the lasagna. So in a pot I'm going to saute these onions. It's just one onion that has been cut up or sliced. Normally we saute with butter, but I'm going to be using some olive oil. So just a little bit of olive oil in your pan. You can keep adding as you go along. Okay, so I'm throwing in my onions. And as you go along, you can use whatever spices you like, depending on your preference. I'm just putting a little bit of crushed garlic in there as well. So we're going to let that just get a little bit cooked, lightly gold. So the lasagna that we're doing today is a vegetable lasagna, but I want you, when you're eating it, to not feel as if you're missing out on the meat. So therefore I'm going to show you a very cool trick to incorporate some meat flavor into it so that you're not really missing out. It's as if you're not even eating vegetables. So while that's getting done, I'm just going to show you the trick very quickly. So in a measuring jug I have 2 cups of water to 1 cube of beef stock. That's the trick. That's where your meaty flavor is going to come from. So I've diluted the cube of beef stock into 2 glasses of boiling water. I'm using Wellington's mild chutney, about 30 ml. That's going to go into it. You can add as much as you want to. Sometimes I go overboard with over 30. We're going to add half a cup or half a sachet of brown onion soup. The same mix. Okay, and then we're going to use about 30 ml of tomato paste. So these are ingredients that you can find very easily at Checker supermarket, Woolworths. It's nothing that's going to make you lose your mind trying to find in store. So we're going to just put 2 sachets, which should be around 25 to 30 ml. We're going to give this a nice mix. This is going to stay aside until I tell you when you need to use it. If you want to ditch this idea completely, you can substitute this little mixture with a glass of red wine if you want to be a bit adventurous. Okay, so that's our mixture that's going to go into this a bit later. Just to recap, we took 1 cube of beef stock and diluted it in 2 cups of boiling water. I add 30 ml of Wellington's mild chutney. I add 30 ml of tomato paste and half a packet of brown onion soup. So that's just gonna lie on the side there until we need to use it. Okay. Into our onions, we're going to be putting peppers. Now I use 3 bell peppers, each a different color. So I got red, yellow and green. That's going to go in there. They cut into strips and then halved after that. It's not too big. Next I'm going to add into this baby corn. Okay, so I've taken baby corn and just chopped it up very roughly. This is about 4 or 5 baby corn, just to elevate some texture into the dish. On top of that, I'm going to be putting in 2 large grated carrots. Now the grated carrots add sweetness into this entire meal, so it counteracts the spiciness that we are adding as well, so it gives it a good balance. So that's 2 large carrots that have been grated. Okay. So you can give that a mix and let that cook for a few minutes until you're ready for your next ingredients. Next I'm adding 2 tomatoes that have been chopped. That goes in. And 1 punnet of mushrooms, which is 250 grams of mushrooms that have been sliced. That goes in as well. As I said, you can use any type of spices that you like. So I'm going to use mixed spice or mixed herbs as much as you want. And salt for seasoning according to how much you would like. Okay. Give that a mix, and before we put in our secret mix that I've made on the side, we're going to let this cook for about 5 to 8 minutes. And the last thing that we're going to be adding is our mixture that we had on the side. Okay, just give it a little stir before pouring it in. And there you go. Lovely. Okay, so the most time taken for cooking any of these vegetables in the pot would be the peppers, as they are the hardest. So we're going to leave this on the stove for about, let's say, 8 to 15 minutes, just until all your vegetables have softened and the gravy inside has at least reduced to half the quantity. Once that's done, you're done with the first part of your vegetable lasagna. Let's move on to our sauce. So we have our filling cooked, kept aside. Now it's on to our sauce. I'm going to make a very simple cheese sauce, starting obviously with a bechamel sauce, which is actually a white sauce. Just being fancy by throwing around some French terms. Okay, so on a pan I have about, let's say, 70 grams of rama. You can use any type of butter or margarine that you'd like. So let me just put this on. We're going to let that melt. One thing about making a sauce is you need a lot of speed and power in your hand, especially when you are whisking, to avoid any lumps forming. We don't want a lumpy type of white sauce or cheese sauce in this instance. So basic ingredients that you need for a cheese sauce while this is getting melted. You need about 60 to 70 grams of butter. You need about 80 grams of all-purpose flour. You need white pepper and salt for seasoning. 2 cups of cheese. I'm using cheddar cheese. You can use whichever you like according to your preference. We need about plus minus 500 ml of milk and 2 eggs, and that's about it. So we just need to get this nice and melted. As soon as your butter melts, we're going to throw in our 60 to 70 grams of flour. So this is going to just go in, and we're going to start stirring. So just FYI, cooking of butter and flour together is called a roux. So that's basically what we're making. Ooh, a bit messy. Okay. Get that nice and mixed so there's hardly any lumps. Okay, that's our roux. Roux done, R-O-U-X, by the way. Okay, I'm adding in about 500 ml of milk, slowly. You can use as much as you want, but try and stick to the recipe. Does that seem like 500? I think so. Okay, and we keep stirring. We're gonna get a bit splashy here and there, but we'll try to do our best. So how do chefs normally stir anything in the industry? Small stirs in the center, big stirs at the edges. Small stirs at the center, big stirs at the edges. Okay, just to take this up a level, what I'm going to be doing is adding a tub of marzipan. This is just gonna take the taste levels to heights that you will never ever imagine. So we're gonna get 1 tub of that in. It can be at room temperature or as is. It's going to break down in the heat, so don't be scared about that. Increasing my temperature. You don't want your sauce to be too thick or too runny, just enough for it to hold wherever you drop it in the lasagna. So already automatically the marzipan, or sorry, the mascarpone, why am I using the wrong terms here? It's a bit too hot in Durban. So the mascarpone has already thickened this. What's going to make it even more thicker is the cheese that we're going to add next, which is 2 cups or 2 handfuls of cheese. I'm not going to put too much in here because I need to keep some for the topping of the lasagna. So that should give it, just to give it a hint of a cheese flavor, so we know that this is a cheese sauce. Okay, that's going to get melted in. While that's getting melted in, we're going to add 2 whole eggs. When I mean whole eggs, I mean the egg yolk and the egg white together. This is going to add some nice richness. Mix it, mix, 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 mix. You can already see that your sauce is thickening. Okay, and to this you can maybe just drop your heat a bit lower. To this we're going to add our seasoning according to your preference, which would be just a hint of white pepper in there, and a pinch of salt. Obviously you're going to taste so you can see whether you like it with the amount of salt that you already put, or you need more or less. Then you just continue to stir. As you can see, it's getting nice and thick. At this point you can put your stove off because it's cooked already. It's just a matter of stirring. If this gets too thick and you don't like it, what can you do? You can add extra milk to it. If it becomes too runny and you've ran out of other ingredients, you can put in a tablespoon of meizina, cornstarch, and that's an instant thickening agent. And there you have your lovely cheese sauce. Our filling is done, vegetable filling done. Yummy creamy cheese sauce done. Now it's time to layer our lasagna. So I'm using this square casserole which I've spray and cook in. You can use any type of grease, obviously for your lasagna and your food not to get stuck while in the oven. Okay, so there's no boiling necessary of any lasagna. I'm using fatties and monies, spinach lasagna, just to add a little bit more vegetable to the sound of what I'm cooking today. And it's green in color, so they've incorporated spinach into the pasta dough to make the lasagna. So let's get to it. First we're going to use our filling. That's going to go at the bottom. Okay, that's our filling. Smelling delicioso. Okay, remember we have to make layers, so try and be a bit sparing. At the same time, don't be stingy. You don't need to necessarily get too many layers of lasagna. Also depending on the height of your dish, or the depth rather of your dish. So that goes at the bottom. Delicious. Okay, as you can see. Then we're going to add our sheets of lasagna. So as I said, this has been parboiled already, so it doesn't necessarily need to be boiled first. It's going to get prepared in the oven. So how are we going to do this? Okay, so this is one red. That's going to go on top like such. It can overlap here and there, so don't stress about it. And for there, and I'm just going to break one in half. Is it a crime to do so? Oops. And one's going to go like that. Okay, the layer of lasagna is there. Next, we're coming in with our sauce. Put your sauce in nicely. Okay, just try and get it all around without the lasagna lifting up. Gosh, I didn't anticipate for that to happen. Okay, turn around your dish, just try and get your lasagna in place. Sometimes food does misbehave when you're working with it, so it's just one of those things. Okay. That's your cheese sauce. And then we're going to repeat. So basically it's your filling, lasagna, cheese sauce, repeat, 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 repeat until you run out of ingredients. Once you're done filling in your layers and your final layer has been completed and you're happy with it, then we're going to add the last element, which is our grated cheese. As I said, don't be stingy. Try and cover as much surface as you can. Almost finished. I think that was enough cheese. And you're ready for the oven. So this is going to go into a preheated oven at 180 degrees for around 30 to 35 minutes. Just keep an eye on it while it is in the oven. You don't want it to burn. You want this to get nice and golden on top. Remember, most of your ingredients inside is cooked already. It's just at the